Yeah, thanks everybody for joining us today. A little bit about IV therapy. Most people are familiar with IV therapy thinking it's that thing that we get to do when we go to the hospital, whether we really want to or not. This kind of derived from that. IV therapy as a whole is basically like it sounds. We're putting fluid, vitamins, minerals, electrolytes, amino acids, antioxidants into the bloodstream. And there's some really specific reasons why we do that. Number one, how many times have any of you guys ever been sick, been run down to the point where drinking something orally is not going to work for you, or you've been out dehydrated to the point where you're trying to drink water, but honestly, water's making you nauseous because you just can't do it. By doing IVs, we bypass the gut. We're taking that fluid and those nutrients directly to the bloodstream so your body can absorb it up. Another good reason to do this is that we bypass that whole issue with the gut taking over what we put into it and only getting either partial the effect or breaking it down, or if somebody's got any absorption issues. For example, there's chronic absorption issues, there's celiacs, there's Crohn's, colitis, things like that can affect the GI tract. And there's only a small portion of your intestines that actually that are able to absorb the vitamins. If anything affects that, whether it's your health, what you eat, things involved in, like your overall wellness, genetic issues, then maybe your body's not getting all the absorption or the vitamins that it needs or really needs to be to help your body function optimally. So what we do is we come up with some different vitamin cocktails that help to maximize what you're trying to do. A lot of times people, I tell everybody that our IVs are from basically just fluid with electrolytes in it to, oh my gosh, what did I drink last night? We talk about, people going to Vegas and having fun. And this is, we do it all in between. Working with Dr. Sosa, we've come up to where we deal with clients from the age of 15 years old or 100 pounds. And I think our oldest client right now is currently 91 and 92. So we see people for a variety of different reasons and a variety of different conditions. My wife, Lisa, and I, who founded this back in 2014, this idea came out of, to be honest with you, there's a company in Vegas, called Hangover Heaven. It was a doctor who drove around in an actual tour bus, not just a regular RV. He drove a tour bus around up and down the strip that helped to people, that had a little too much fun out in Vegas. Now you can't go to Vegas without there being an IV clinic in every single one of the major hotels. Why? Because they want to keep their patrons happy, healthy, and spending money in their establishment. For us, we want to do this, and being in the IV business, there's always going to be that percentage of people that come to us because they want, they're coming to a hangover. That's just a part of being in this business. But my wife and I really started this business so we could help people. By that, it means, whether you're the type A personality person that, maybe works a lot, weekend warrior, always on the go, stress levels up, cortisol levels up, maybe doesn't take care of yourself as well, hydration and vitamin wise, thinking that you're eating good, but you're putting so much stress and tax on your body that you're not actually taking care of yourself to fit the needs of what you're doing. There's other people that are clients that have certain conditions, chronic conditions, some of those absorption ones that I mentioned, celiacs, Crohn's. We've had several celiacs patients that have had some damage to their intestines that cannot absorb the vitamins well. So we help them, and we're just a supplement to them. So we help them to where when they get those flare-ups, when they get those times, give them hydration, give them some vitamins, minerals, electrolytes, and help them, because the worst thing you can do with any condition that you deal with is to be dehydrated. And one of the things I know Dr. Soso will, he can back this up, is like when you prescribe a medication, when you prescribe a supplement, when you can prescribe, whatever the case may be, the worst thing you can do is do that when you're dehydrated, because whatever you're prescribing is not going to have the desired effect if your body is dehydrated. It can't absorb everything. It can't, those medicines, those nutrients, whatever, cannot circulate through the body to provide the desired effect that you want. So that's why we've started to see people that are more, I don't want to say older, but some of the aging population, because they're on a lot more medications than somebody who's 20 or 30 years old. So getting them hydrated, they can have a better effect of if they have to take a medication, they have to take a supplement. So some of those conditions are for that. Other ones we get involved with are sports performance. And by that means supplement to people. Like we do have several of the athletes. I'm very happy to say, and I cannot name names, that I feel personally responsible that the Bucks won the Super Bowl. So I'm just going to throw that out there. That we had a few of the players. Actually, we had the day of. We had a few of the players that we had to have a little unique way of getting to them because they were locked in their hotel, and we had to have some arrangements for that. So, athletes are basically ones that their body is how they make money. That's how they do things. And if they don't have their body in optimal performance, both hydration, nutrition, and there's other things outside that I'll go over in a minute, but if they're not functioning at a high level, then they're not able to perform, and that's going to show on whatever sport whether it's football, hockey, golf, tennis, and back to the weekend warriors where you've got the 5K runs, the triathletes, anything like that. It's going to have a negative effect on your body, and they're not going to be able to perform as well. Other clients, and these are some of the other industries we've started to see, are and this actually came to us because one of our nurse managers that works with us part-time, she's actually working at the COVID unit up in New York right now, but she's actually a nurse practitioner, is that she had the gastric sleeve surgery. So we've had a lot of people that are bariatric patients that have had the gastric sleeve surgery. We actually have a doctor that refers their clients to us because once they have the surgery, their stomach becomes the size of like a small softball or less than that. They basically can take in 4 ounces at a time, and trying to keep your hydration and your nutrition level up becomes a real challenge to these clients. So what we do is offer them the hydration, and we just popped up at Village Presbyterian Church. So I hope that's all good. Everybody watch what they say. So you got to, the clients that are recovering from the sleeve surgery or a bariatric surgery, they really, really have to optimize their fluid. And there's no way that they're going to be able to take in a liter of fluid orally like we would be able to provide for them in an IV. They just can't do it at one time. There's literally not the space in their stomach anymore to accommodate that. And it's a struggle. So these are some of the different ones why Lisa, my wife, and I got into this business, is to help people to move forward, some of the challenges. And we make recommendations based on what's fit for them. I mean, sometimes I'm the worst salesperson in the world in that we want to make sense for what fits, the Sharons of the world or the Sosas of the world or the Christophers of the world. It's not a one size fits all. So that being said, when you come into us, our nurses want to find out what's going on with you. Why did you come into Replenish? What's going on? I mean, sometimes, like I said, it's easy. I've been, we get the hungover patient. There's times a year that's promoted. I mean, I'll just be honest with you. We've got one coming up. Cinco de Mayo is a very active day for people that might want to go out and have a little bit of fun. Gasparilla was always a good one. This past year, it's been a little struggle. 4th of July, New Year's Eve, those things like that. But again, our basis is to help people. And some of the things that the IV drips can do is it helps to improve the immune health. With COVID going on right now and dealing with that, the best thing that we can do for somebody who's coming in for something like for immune system is help get their immune system boosted up to a higher level. Things like adding extra vitamin C to an IV, adding zinc, D3, all those 3 things in particular help kind of supercharge or fine tune your immune system to help fight it off. Are we going to prevent COVID? No, we're not here to say that. But what we can do is get your immune system up so your body's in a better place to deal with it, maybe to fight it off, maybe to help you recover better. On a personal note, I can tell you that I had COVID last year in June. It really hit our family hard. It was, we lost a family member because of it, unfortunately. They had pre-existing health conditions, but it's just, unfortunately, it's one of those, it was a tough time. But that being said, I was able to get IVs, and my recovery time, although I was locked up for a month because I couldn't get a clean test, after about 5 to 7 days, I mean, I went from running 104 fever and pain that was ridiculous to, I'm in my locked up little room working out because there was nothing else for me to do, but I felt better. And I was able to move forward quicker, I believe, because I had the extra vitamins, minerals, and electrolytes, and I was hydrated properly. So I was able to flush my body out. But that being said, you need to make sure that we're not altogether like a treatment plan. We're an adjunct to your lifestyle, and that's what we want to be. Replenish IV with Dr. Sosa, we operate in between doing nothing and going to the hospital. We're that niche to where you're proactive wellness. You're trying to do something that's good for your body. You're trying to do something that's beneficial. Once you get to a point that you need diagnosis and treatment, we're going to recommend you go see Dr. Sosa. We're going to recommend that you go see your primary care. Or, we had, I'll give you an example. We had one the other day that it was a referral from a good client. They sent their father-in-law they actually had our staff go out to see their father-in-law. Once our nurse gets there, she calls me up. She says, "Hey, Steve, we can't do this guy. We can't give him an IV." I'm like, "Okay, what's going on?" "Well, he's got this, that, the other thing going on, and he's on these medications, and he really isn't looking good." I said, "Okay, recommend highly the family call either their primary care doctor or call 911. And that's, we have to make the decision to do what's right for the client. It's not about doing what's right for making money all the time. If you're not doing what's right for the client, then you're kind of in it for the wrong reason. So, we kind of approach things differently like that. Some of the other things that doing IV therapy is really good for is boosting energy, improve symptoms of depression. Now, this seems a little weird, but if your vitamin levels, your antioxidant levels, your minerals, your hydration's all better, then you're taking some of that out of the equation. There's things that if you're stressed and your heart's beating faster and you're really going at it and you're dehydrated, that's going to make everything worse. Again, I guess the key to my speech today is dehydration and not taking care of your body in that way is going to make every condition that we have or deal with worse. We improve, like I said, anxiety and depression, improves your mental health. It can reduce some of the symptoms of migraine. Migraines are basically kind of flare-ups, and a lot of that, sometimes people will notice, you can have like a photosensitivity or light sensitivity that can bring on migraines. But another thing that happens too is dehydration. When your body gets stressed and taxed, that's when you notice you'll start to feel those aches and pains. You'll start to feel that headache. I can definitely tell you that when I'm feeling run down, I try to go over and get one of our nurses to give me an IV quickly because I know it's coming, because I get the headaches that start in the back of the head and they work their way forward. And and I'll even see Dr. Sosa just did my blood work the other day. He goes, a couple things you need to work on, but surprisingly, for somebody who's old like myself, I'm in not too bad a shape, other than I need to exercise a little bit more. So, but some of the other things that conditions that we help with, believe it or not, would be asthma. I mean, anybody who suffers with asthma knows that one of the first things that they tell you to do is, they're going to give you the medication albuterol, which is a nebulizer treatment. But magnesium actually helps to go in and relax your smooth muscles and to get rid of that, can help your body relax to where your bronchial tube, maybe you don't have to go and get that extra treatment or go to the hospital if you can get yourself hydrated and get those vitamins and minerals working for you. Again, back to the athletes, when you get those cramps and your legs lock up and you can't do it, the reason being is that you don't have the minerals to make your muscles function properly. So imagine, the same type of setup in your lungs with your bronchial tubes. You don't have those minerals to make that body relax a little bit. We really like to focus on what somebody's primary care goals are. So if somebody comes into us and they're having an absorption issue, our nurse will talk to them about some different vitamins, minerals, electrolytes that can kind of help, maybe make sense for them, what they're trying to accomplish. But other things that we see with that is that the vitamins, minerals, and electrolytes really help you to operate a little bit higher level. They actually help you to really not tax your body as much, and you're not having to do things. We also add amino acids to that. Now, sometimes you'll hear different terms with amino acids being essential and non-essential. Essential amino acids are things that your body doesn't produce, so it's essential that you go get those from sources. We always recommend a good diet. And again, Replenish IV kind of fits in the fact that you've got a good health plan. You're eating well, you've got good mental and physical exercise. you've got good hydration and good supplementation when necessary. We're only a part of that. And if somebody's coming to us because we're going to fix them, then they probably need to reevaluate some of their other lifestyle choices, because we're not going to be the ones that's going to fix somebody. We're going to supplement your good lifestyle decision and your good your good health choices. I guess one of the other reasons to choose maybe IV therapy at times is that if you get to that point that, we've all been there where we're out, at the beach, we're golfing, we're doing our favorite sport, we've got our hat on. And I look back to my days when I played sports, and you look down and you see all that white stuff that's dried on the top of your hat. Those are electrolytes. And if you can't get those in orally, alternative is to do IV therapy. So we try to help out when it makes sense. The staff that we've hired to help people do this, they're very well trained. We're not like the hospital or the fire rescue or anything like that. We're not a training ground for IV people that to learn their craft. When they come to us, they've already have to learn their craft, and they've already perfected it. Because if you're coming to us for a service like this, we want to make sure that you come in, you get comfortable, listen to some jazz music in the background. At our Gandy office, we have a TV. You can watch whatever you want. You can relax. In our Carrollwood office, you can look at the nice greenery we have outside of the office. And you want to feel safe and comfortable. If you're going to a massage therapist, you want to make sure that they're very skilled at their craft. Same thing with us. You want to feel safe that you're getting the right thing. And we do fire all compliances. Again, as Dr. Sosha we'll talk about a little bit. He's in our Carrollwood office. And he's available, whether he likes it or not, 24/7. If we have somebody that calls us saying, "Hey, look, we've got this condition," like we've recently getting a lot of people that wanting to do iron infusions. For us, we do offer iron, but that being said, they have to have a medical need for it. And I know a lot of people are getting prescribed iron infusions because they're getting ready to go do cosmetic treatments, and they like to see their iron level up to a certain level. We only prescribe iron, or we only perform iron if there's a medical necessity for anemia, and if we also work in conjunction with their primary doctor. We're not here to step on anybody's toes, and we want to make sure that there's a medical need for it. So other things that we do in the office, and Doc Sosa will go over this as well, we've gotten into doing corporate wellness. So I know corporate wellness has taken on a whole new form these days, because I've spoken to a lot of people and I think Sharon, you mentioned it earlier, is that companies are slowly coming back. They're slowly coming back to work. I talked to a law office downtown in the Bank of America building, and he's one of the senior partners, said they're about 30 to 40% capacity of what they normally do. That being said, they still want to make sure that their staff is healthy. So we participate in corporate wellness programs by either A, going out to their staff, or two, having their staff come into us. And we like to give them the flexibility of that. So for example, we have one of our corporate wellness partners. We'll go to them from like 10 to 12:30, and they use that time once a week to have a corporate meeting. So anything that's going on, plans that's going on, they can have a staff meeting and go over projects, upcoming things, get their whole corporate meeting out once a week in that time frame. And they're having their company participate in corporate wellness by having people come in and get IVs. And some of this may seem overboard, but look at what's going on now. We're all having to learn how to work differently with COVID. We're all having to learn, I could tell you what, before COVID, I was maybe on one Zoom meeting, maybe two Zoom meetings that I can think of. Now Zoom meetings are the norm. And if you do get your staff together, you want to make sure they're healthy. Nobody wants to bring in things that are and as a company, having a good corporate wellness plan, number two, really makes your office, let's see, what am I trying to say? It helps them to reduce the cost of everything that's going on. As a company, you want to provide a safe workspace, you want to provide perks, and you also want to give your clients, your staff, something that helps them, be at work more, be more proficient in what they do, be engaged to what they're doing, and be able to come into work and feel like they're getting a perk that's helping their body. Why do they do this? Obviously, more work productivity means less sick days, means better for the company all over. So it's a nice little positive feedback loop. Secondary, if you participate in these corporate wellness programs, it's going to be better because they're going to reduce your insurance costs. So that's all. I mean, I hate to say that everything responds back to money, but if you can do something positive for your staff and also reduce, finances for your company, then you've got everybody's winning in this. It's not just the company's making more money, it's that the staff is healthier and more productive, and the company is reaping that benefits from having that those least of expensive as of paying for, sick days and things like that. So I think that's kind of what I was going to talk to a little bit about. I know I'm going to have Doc Sosa. We forgive the pun, but being today is 420. One of the things that we do provide in our office through Doc Sosa is the medical marijuana cards. And we've been doing this for almost a year now, believe it or not. And I'm going to let Doc Sosa talk a little bit. Dr. Sosa is he's our medical director for Replenish IV. And one of the reasons, I have to mute him so he doesn't hear this, one reason that we chose Doc Sosa as our medical director, and we actually wanted him as our first medical director at the time he was unable to do that, was that the very first time that I went to see Doc Sosa as a patient, he provided minerals and all natural solutions compared to just saying, hey, here, Steve, here's some pills, take this, go feel better. And that kind of always stuck in our head. So then when we had an opportunity to bring on Doc Sosa as a medical director, it was a no-brainer because we kind of share the same, even though we'll joke like two 10-year-olds in the schoolyard, we have the same philosophy that we really want people to try to do things all natural and to help themselves without trying to rely on pills and medications and crutches that are only going to hold you up for a short period of time and then let you down. And then you're looking for that next fix or that next something to help build you back up. So I'm going to turn it over to Doc Sosa, and he can tell you a little bit more about Elevant Health and the medical marijuana.
All right. Hi, guys. Steve, you're going to make me cry after everything you said. But
Bless you.
Thank you for the brief introduction. Hello, everybody. So I'm John Sosa. I am the medical director for Replenish IV, as Steve mentioned several times. So my practice is a direct primary care practice. So it's a concierge style, type of facility, and people pay a monthly membership fee to come see me. And I provide concierge level care without the sort of concierge level costs ultimately. Within that scope, I practice, obviously general primary care, but also am also board certified in lifestyle medicine. So kind of what Steve was alluding to also is our facility in general is really geared towards lifestyle optimization. I really focus on, I do a very thorough lifestyle intake when I see somebody for their first visit, which is typically, an annual physical. That will include a very comprehensive panel of blood work. But again, I go very much in depth as far as, dietary habits, exercise, their stress levels, their sleeping habits, things like that. So I do everything in my power to help educate patients and enhance and improve those things. And I'm a big proponent of plant-based nutrition, and that's very much a core of my philosophy as well, as far as optimizing health. I by no means, force anybody to become vegan like myself or anything like that. But we know that on the spectrum of optimal health, people that eat more of a plant-based diet have better health outcomes. So, my practice is inside of Replenish IV in the Carrollwood location. Like Steve was saying, my practice very much complements what we're all trying to achieve. Again, as far as health and wellness, many of my patients get IVs. I see several Replenish patients as primary care, under my Elevant umbrella. And, it's a really great mutual relationship, and we're getting into a few other exciting things. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
at both locations. So ultimately, the big thing today for me to talk about, though briefly, is because it's 420. So we're going to talk about another wonderful service that we provide here at between Replenish and Elevon is medical cannabis card recommendations for patients. So Steve and I have an agreement with a larger organization called MMTCFL, or Medical Marijuana Treatment Centers of Florida. And there are, I believe, about 25 locations throughout the state. We are the North Tampa office. If you go on the mmtcfl.com website, we're the Carrollwood location. So if anybody is interested, family, friends, customers, people that are interested in getting their medical cannabis card, come find us. I'll give you a brief overview of the process. So you do have to have a qualifying medical condition to get your medical cannabis card. We don't give people their card. I don't. So we function essentially as a middleman. I as a primary care doctor, I may have patients that I want them to have their medical card so I can be, I can show the qualifying condition, but people that come to us from the outside, I can't do that. I'm not allowed to do that. So they have to come from their primary care doctor, their specialist of some sort, the orthopedic doctor, psychiatrist, whatever it may be, with a diagnosis in hand, and preferably with their medical records in hand to speed up the process. But once we have all that, essentially, we do our initial encounter. We start a profile for them in the Office of Medical Marijuana Use, the state, what's called the state registry. Pull together their medical records, and we essentially funnel all that information and create a profile. The patient then receives an invitation from the state of Florida for them to be able to apply for their medical card. Again, we don't give them their card here. We just sort of essentially give them our blessing that they have a qualifying condition and they may apply for their card. Then they pay the state a $75 fee. They will get an email within a few days saying that they've been approved, and they'll get a temporary ID number. They then get their permanent card in the mail within a few weeks. The whole process can take a few weeks. Ultimately, it does not happen right away the same day. And then patients can go shopping at a dispensary. They are required to be seen by the doctor every 6 months to maintain the order that we put in. So that cannabis order that gets put in, which is good for 210 days, is basically 7 months, and they have to be seen by a doc, by me, to get a new order, so that they can continue their therapy. If they don't, it expires and they can't get any product at a dispensary. We don't do anything directly with dispensaries other than provide patients information. So we're again, from a medical legal standpoint, we're disconnected from the dispensaries other than referring patients to where they choose to go for wherever they want to buy products. And there's tons of them out there. You may not even realize that they're out there because they don't say medical marijuana dispensary. You've probably driven by on Dale Mabry about 4 or 5 of them: Trulieve, Curaleaf, Surterra. Move is up on 54 and 41. There's a Move on Dale Mabry further south. So we we kind of take care of the whole process. We see patients every 6 months. We see new patients, follow-up patients. We can do telemedicine for those patients that have been seen by us 6 months prior, but they have to have been seen by the same doctor to do a telemedicine follow-up visit. So that's really, I try to provide a pretty comprehensive, provide comprehensive information to the patient during that process so they really understand it. And that's really about it. As far as other local things, we like to support other CABA businesses, and there's a big CBD event, which is very closely related to, the medical cannabis industry, of course, over at Bliss Wellness Market later this afternoon. So I'll be stopping by to say hi to them and support their business. But that very much goes hand in hand with our medical cannabis card certification process, because whether it be my patients, Replenish patients, we like to send them for options like that if they're tired of being on, chronic pain medication, or maybe they don't want to get their medical card and they do want to try some other natural supplement. So I send them for CBD treatment over at a facility like that, or buying it from any health food store like Abby's or something like that. So that's my spiel. If anybody's interested in becoming a direct care patient, they can find me on my website. It's www.elevanthealth. Maybe you can see my logo there, but it's ELEVANTH health.com. You can become a member right on the website, make appointments right on the website as well. So that's my take.
That's your
I'll punt it back to Steve.
That's your story, and you're sticking to it.
Into it.
Perfect. Yeah. One of the other things that I wanted, while we have CABA people on, we're doing do you have the flyer there, Doc?
For YMCA?
Yeah.
Yep. Hold on one sec. Got it right here.
We're going to promote this. We're doing a family adventure race. What's the date? Because we can't read it.
Family adventure race at the Bob Sierra Family YMCA. It is hosted by, we're part of the CABA Wellness Committee. Part of a subgroup within there that is all health and wellness focused companies, but Replenish IV and Advanced Total Body Wellness will be the co-title sponsors. It is Saturday, May 22nd at the Bob Sierra YMCA Youth and Family Center. The cost is $55 per family. Packet pickup begins at 7:30 and the first wave begins at 8:15. And registration includes a t-shirt, a medal, post-race refreshments, and of course, bragging rights. So, I think there should be a link somewhere on the CABA website to link up. And there is also Bob Sierra YMCA Facebook page. There should be info as well.
Perfect. So now you can tell Jennifer that we did our part. We're promoting the event. So
yeah,
that's right. Proud of you.
So whatever we can do, Sharon, if anybody has any questions, Doc says, and I would love to answer them.
Hey, Steve, I just have a comment. So I know working in the hospital for a number of years and working in labor and delivery, I can say the number one cause of, preterm labor in pregnant patients that we saw was dehydration.
Yes.
So as, for those that don't know, the uterus is a smooth muscle. And so that's why we give magnesium to help it relax. And then the hydration, in the form of an IV to help it, the muscle, or, to stop contracting, and which would a lot of times that's all that women would need. Do you guys see pregnant patients there?
Absolutely. Thanks for bringing that up. That's one market I didn't even, when I was running my mouth, there's so many things I wanted to say, and sometimes the funnel doesn't empty out before my time's up. So we see a lot. Matter of fact, there's a very prominent family. I can't mention their name, but they were really like when we first, back in into 2014, 2015, the wife came to see us, and she had just had twins and honestly was not able to make enough breast milk. So they came to us, and literally we were just doing IVs with a little bit of vitamins and minerals in that, nothing overloaded. And she literally was able to breastfeed her kids, and just like really, it's amazing. It's fun because now they're, they're 7 years old now, almost, 6 years old. It's like, it's crazy for us to go back and see that. But we see a lot. Matter of fact, we have 2 or 3 clients right now that they have, you want to say bad pregnancies, but they're pregnancies where they get the morning sickness or the hyperemesis throughout. And that's the thing where, like Jennifer was saying, that if you're a pregnant female, the worst thing you can do is be dehydrated, because you're not only affecting your status, you're affecting your unborn child status. Everything that you take into your body. That's why don't drink, don't smoke, don't do drugs, but especially if you're pregnant, don't do those things, because those things transmit to your unborn child. And if you can't get that hydration in there, then they're not getting that. And dehydration is going to be it's got to be the leading cause, other than some of the things I mentioned for preterm labor, meconium staining, which is basically rupturing your sac early because you're or the baby that's stressing and for lack of a better word, pooping in the sac because they're under stress. So yeah, that's a great thing, Jennifer. Appreciate that. We see a lot of pre, during, and post, well, obviously during that, but pre and post term moms for IVs.
Yeah, I see a lot of the patients that I currently deal with. I deal with the hyperemesis patients, so the ones that are extremely sick throughout the pregnancy, and we're keeping them out of the hospital. So we've got them on, their Reglan or their Zofran pumps. And so a lot of them, we can't get nurses because they live in remote areas, or we don't have nurses to go to their home to get an IV started. So they don't want to go to the hospital because they don't want to get exposed. So they actually, we send them to, infusion centers. So I think that's a great opportunity for you guys to promote that. I think some people don't know that's an option.
Exactly. And we go out to them because, what's the worst thing you do in it? You're a mom, you're soon to be a mom, and you're nauseous and sick and don't know, you might have to throw up at the drop of a dime. We come out to them. And you mentioned it too. They want to stay out of hospitals. Hospitals right now. Let the truly sick people go to the hospital. That being said, when you go to that hospital, now you are now a potential victim candidate for what everybody else has in that hospital. If it's a oral type or airborne type sickness, you're now a potential candidate for that. So especially you want to stay out of the hospital if you can. So for people that are concerned about COVID, especially moms, we have people sit on the front porches. Our staff wears N95 masks. They disinfect pre and post seeing any client. Our goal is just like when you first got into medicine, and you're taking that oath, no matter if you're an EMT, paramedic, nurse, doctor, whatever, your goal is to do no further harm. That's where we're at. We don't want to do anything more than only leave a positive effect on the person's body. So happy to do that. Love to answer anybody else's questions for myself or the doc.
Well, I have a question, as far as continuing wellness.
Yes.
And IVs.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Because I know, like, I'm, thinking of myself, for instance, I have a chronic condition with my colon. Mm-hmm. So I have a very limited diet. So I don't eat red meat or pork.
Good.
Or chicken. I eat turkey and fish, and I can't eat dairy. So what do you think as far as an IV, like continual basis? Would that be like once a month or once every 2 weeks, just as a continuous benefit?
Sure. So I think what we look at when we see people for IVs is to, listen to your body. That's why I'm going to tell you I'm the worst salesperson when it comes to that, because I'm going to say, if you've got somebody who's got like a lupus flare up, I talked to a young lady today who's coming in who's got lupus. We talked about the absorption issues, and with your issue, listen to your body. Hydration is going to be a key thing. So, when you start to feel your body getting run down, or you're starting to think that, or you're dealing with stressful times, everybody thinks stress is a bunch of BS. Well, I can tell you that the leading cause of heart disease, there's a few things. There's poor diet. There's smoking and alcohol overuse and things like that. But if you don't think that stress is, go there and look. Vegans have heart attacks. Okay. It's not that we're getting rid of having heart attacks, but by being a plant-based diet, we're getting rid of some of these other risk factors. It doesn't mean that vegans cannot have heart attacks. If you have stress on your body in any way, shape, or form, it's going to cause you to be run down. It's going to cause you to have flare-ups to whatever the condition. So yes, with your condition, I would definitely recommend being more plant-based, like Doc Sosa. He's happy. And then Jennifer also, she recommends, she could put together the diet plan for you. But keeping yourself hydrated, keeping yourself with good soluble fiber and things like that are definitely going to be a big important thing for you. But listen to your body. Because you may be somebody who sips on water all day and you just need some electrolytes to supplement that every so often. And that could be once a week. That could be 2 or 3 times a month. But, I guess what I'm trying to say is if somebody says that you have to have something this many times, there's not one size that fits all. That's more of a sales pitch than it is a good recommendation. Good recommendation is match your needs to what your health goals are.